Listen to this next part, Kurt. I don't care what the West Coast says, because I love those Myrtle Beach days.
The look on Kurt's face is priceless.
Kurt, whose music is his life.
Yeah,
Going, this song sucks.
This is crap.
Thank you.
When you UConn folks get down there.
They're not going to want to hear this. I bet they'd want to hear Beach Boys before they heard that
If
crap.
you go down there screaming
Right,
Beach
Bobby?
Boys,
That's funny.
They're going to
That's
slap
tremendous.
you around in Myrtle Beach.
Bob Joyce joins us, women's basketball play-by-play, men's
Hello.
hockey play-by-play, and does the football, the pre- and post-game. How are you, sir?
Hello, Bob.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm doing fine.
A lot of traveling. We'll get to Notre Dame in just a second. Let's talk about the bowl.
Bowl. Hey, the guys went bowling yesterday.
They
Literally,
did. My
went
wife told
bowling.
me they went to the bowling alley.
Yeah, in East Hartford, right
I
down
love this.
Keeping them
Silver Lane.
busy.
Yeah.
Soccer one day and then bowling another day. Just hopefully nobody gets injured.
Cross-training, Dibs.
Cross-training.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the bowling balls. I was worried about the soccer kicking, though.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
All right, so let's talk about the matchup. Is Marshall? It's
The
Myrtle
Thundering
Beach.
Herd.
I think it's December 28th.
No, December 19th.
December 19th.
So
It's a
2
little
weeks
earlier.
from today.
Monday.
So you will have a day off.
Beautiful.
2:30 kick. All-day football here on 97.9 ESPN Hartford, Conference USA. Ironically, the last time UConn went to a bowl, they played Marshall in St. Petersburg, Florida, the day after Christmas.
Get the heck out of here.
Yeah. Very different, though. We got a healthy quarterback this year, unlike then when Bryant Sheriffs played hurt and they didn't throw the ball much. But, yeah, this should be a good matchup for UConn football. I'm excited for this game.
I'm just congratulations are in order. I mean,
Absolutely.
for Jim Moore Jr., this group of kids, especially the seniors that have been doom and gloom, terrible football, their whole careers at UConn, everybody that has hung on and supported the group and us here waiting for some positive vibes. Jim Mora and his group of coaches and these kids have given us more than enough positive for this season, and a bowl game is just like the cherry on top.
Let me ask the two of you outside the program. When this season started, how many wins did you think UConn would have, realistically?
The wrong
No,
guy.
I
I
said
thought 4.
500 would be an exceptional season.
Yeah,
I said
thought
that.
4 was doable. First thing they had to
Right.
do was get back to respectability.
I knew the Michigan and the NC State game and even Utah was going to be difficult, but some of the Liberty game, I didn't expect them to win that.
No.
They won that one. I mean, so they did some things that honestly I totally didn't expect.
There are games that we expected them to win that they didn't, but there are games we expected them to lose and they didn't. So I guess everything kind of evened out at 6-6. I mean, from the end of September on, it was a lot of fun around here because obviously 1-3 after the NC State game. You're kind of wondering, okay, they've taken their. I'm sorry, 1-4. And you thought, but Jim Moore never got down. He kept seeing things that he thought might turn into positives eventually, and certainly they did against Fresno State. And, oh, by the way, Fresno State just won the Mountain West
Yeah. Totally turned
championship.
it around.
They
Totally
lost another
turned.
game right after UConn, and then they didn't lose another game because they got
Yeah.
their quarterback back. So good for them. But for what Jim Moore and these kids have done, and the coaching staff has been phenomenal. There's already been a little bit of a cost. They've lost their running backs coach to Nebraska because he worked with Matt Rule back in the day. And Nate Carter just today announced that he's entering the transfer portal, and he's a really exceptional running back. He's got a chance to play at a higher level with a better program, and we wish him nothing but the best. But had he stayed, he would have been up there with the Donald Browns of the world here at UConn. He was that good. Even Randy raved about him. One thing you can say about Randy, yes, his coaching style does not work in this day and age, but the guy could still recruit. Jim Moore did not have the cupboard bare when he got here. And the guys who stayed finally got older, they got good coaching, and they took their game up a notch this year. So this is a collective effort, but what Jim Moore and his staff did and the belief that he put in those players this year has been phenomenal, and here we are. We're going to a bowl game.
Yeah, Jackson Mitchell, one of those players.
Ian
he
Swenson,
talked to.
too. Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the defense, especially a lot of those guys. Watt, so happy for him. Just happy for those guys that, man, I've been on teams that can't. It's weird when you come from high school and you win all the time, and then you get to college and all of a sudden you're on a losing team and you don't know how to deal with that. And it's so easy to run away.
Sure.
So easy to run away. So more kudos than probably most of those guys for the guys that have stuck around for these years and are reaping the benefits and the rewards of it all. Getting this bowl, the 19th, what are your thoughts on this actual game, this actual bowl? Does it fit right in with a 6-6 season?
Yeah.
No disappointment whatsoever.
No, not at all. Not at all. This was the hope of one of the bowl games that they were really hoping to get. They were hoping they might get a Florida game either in Tampa or Orlando, but this is the next best thing. I was at the football banquet Thursday. The thought was this was certainly one of the sites, and they thought Marshall was going to be the team that they were probably going to end up playing. The Thundering Herd out of Conference USA.
Sunbelt now.
They had Sunbelt. I'm sorry.
Get out of the 2019 days.
Okay, gotcha.
They were
thank you.
Sunbelt.
Well, thank you for correcting me on that. They do have a running back, if I saw right, who transferred from Florida State, who has
Correct.
over 1,400 yards rushing. But other than that, I don't know a whole lot about the Thundering Herd yet. I will in the next 2 weeks. I'll learn a lot about them. But this will be a formidable opponent. What's their record, by the way? Do you know?
8-4.
Ooh, so that will be a
Dude.
stern test for the Huskies.
Their starting quarterback
is a freshman.
Eight touchdowns, 5 picks.
So that's like Zion.
But they didn't bring him in till the middle of the year.
Yeah.
They really. So I've been studying this team a little bit since yesterday. You broke the news to me that it was going to be them. That conference has been on fire since the year started. With what App State kind of started with the Sun Belt, Coastal Carolina and JMU, James Madison, who just got in the Sun Belt from the FCS, one of the bigger teams.
Troy in the Sun Belt?
Troy is also
They got
in
another
the
bowl
Sun
game.
Belt. So, like, this
Yep.
conference has some good football programs going on right now. And the way the Marshall Thundering Herd ended the season is definitely positive. You brought up Kalen LeBourne already. The senior running back is the way this whole team functions. Like, that guy is the offense, and the young quarterback who they brought in the middle of the season has been more than serviceable in making some plays. This is not a game that UConn fans should look at like, oh, Marshall, not a Power 5, don't really know much about this brand. This should be a win. This is not a should-be win game.
No, this is a tough.
This is a tough
matchup.
game, tough matchup. I do think they can win, but just don't be mistaken. This Marshall team, they're decent.
They're going to bring it.
Well, that's good to know.
They're
Yeah.
gonna
Here's
bring
the
it.
other thing. I don't know if anyone in Connecticut knows. I told you this morning, Bob. I was not surprised to see Marshall get a Myrtle Beach Bowl. Down in Myrtle, the people I know from West Virginia tell me that there are 52 counties in West Virginia. Really, there's 51. Myrtle Beach being the honorable 52nd county of West Virginia.
That's good to know.
Why? Everyone from West Virginia is like, hey, let's go on a summer vacation. It doesn't even have to be spoken. You know where we're going, baby. We're going to Myrtle Beach. West Virginians, for some reason, love them some Myrtle.
Yeah.
And they've played there. So we're in Conway, right? This
Yes.
is home of Coastal
Yep,
Carolina.
on the teal turf, yes.
They played Coastal this year in West Virginia, in Marshall, but Marshall has played Coastal plenty of times
Okay.
down there. So a little bit of familiar. I would say UConn is the away team in this matchup.
Maybe. I will tell you this. David Benedict has worked with Avello Airlines, and they fly direct New Haven to Myrtle Beach,
Glad
and they're
you brought
getting
that up.
extra planes to accommodate fans down there. And
Yeah,
apparently the bowl stuff is pretty good. We'll see how
My
that plays
brother
out.
and a lot of his golfing buddies go to Myrtle
Yeah.
Beach a lot. That's
Yeah.
that's a huge
it's a great
golfing
resort.
destination. So again, us being kind of the New Englanders and the yuppies and the white collar people, I think we're not going to merge well with the people from West
Right.
Virginia.
We'll be at the golf courses. They'll be at
Exactly.
the boardwalk and
Right.
the Ripley's, believe it or not.
That's right.
Hey, some good news on the football front, though. With the fact that they get the bowl game, they obviously get some extra practices in, and they're going to get some healthy bodies back. Keelan Marion should be a full good go to
Nice.
go by then. Cam Ross, and maybe Brian Bruton. Brian Bruton was practicing last week. He had the red jersey on,
Running
so he
back,
didn't get hit. But he might be available for the bowl game. So, some of those, the injuries that they went through at running back and wide receiver, they might be healthy for the bowl game. If Ross and Marion are healthy and good to go, I'm excited to really see what Zion Turner can do.
All right, let's speak health. AZ Fudd, how long is she going to be out for? And what's expected of her knee?
It doesn't sound like she's going to miss much, if any. Gino thinks she might be good to go Thursday against Princeton. I mean, he played on the side of caution in the second half because she really wasn't moving around very well. I did not see the actual play where she got hurt. Now, Rebecca happened to drive back to the airport with Deb and I. They had obviously replay. Apparently, somebody setting a screen knocked Aaliyah to the ground, and Aaliyah on her fall ran into AZ, and her knee kind of buckled a little bit.
And how big is Aaliyah? She's about 160 pounds.
Aaliyah, 6'2", 6'3". I don't know, but she's solid. She's solidly
That's what I'm
built.
saying. So she fell
she's-
right. I
yeah.
saw the play. She fell right on her leg.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you did because I have yet to see the play.
Yeah, so she falls on her knee, and could be a part bruise, part shock.
Maybe a little bit of hyperextension.
Exactly.
So she could play Thursday. She may not, but I think they'd be okay without her on Thursday. The problem is they only had 3 people really score for them against Notre Dame. I mean, Lou Lopez-Seneschal, you expect. Yeah, she finished with 21. Aaliyah had what'd she have here? 14. Yeah, she had 14 and 5. So she didn't have a double-double in the game.
Aubrey only had 3.
Well, that's part of the problem. Here's part of the problem. Nika Mule had double figures too. But here's the other problem here. I mean, AZ only played 13 minutes. She was 0 for 2. Caroline Deschamps played 14 minutes, was an absolute non-factor. She was 0 for 3. Amari DeBerry came and hit a couple of threes, but Aubrey Griffin was 1 of 12 and 1 of 5. And the biggest problem was, Rob, and Debbie and I saw this, every time she caught the ball, she was very much indecision. Early on in the game, Notre Dame laid off for her saying, hey, okay, you got the ball, go ahead, shoot it. We don't care. And she didn't do anything in the rim. The only basket she made was with the shot clock winding down, and she did it in rhythm, and she knocked down a 3, part of that run early in the third that got them back within single digits. But other than that, she was so indecisive, and that is not a good way to perform on the basketball court. You feel bad for the kid.
They didn't cover Nika Mule, and she made her threes.
Yeah, a couple. Couple.
I thought she should have shot a little bit more.
Well, that's what happens when AZ Fudd's not out there and you don't have enough people to score, and that's a big problem. I mean, obviously Caroline was a big disappointment in the game, but it happens. And as Gino said in the post-game show, and he has said this for years, whether you win this game in December or lose this game in December, it's not going to cost you the national championship or win you the national championship. So
no, it might
long way to
them.
go. Yeah. Well, look, talking with Rebecca too after the game, she saw the Notre Dame women play Maryland on Thursday. They did not play well at all. She says this was their best game by far this year. So that still means it doesn't matter what the ranking is, what the record is. It's still UConn coming into town, and the target's on your back, and the Irish played maybe their best game of the year, and Olivia Miles is legit. No matter what she did with the elbow to Nika Mule, Olivia Miles can flat out play. She is good.
I thought Nika and her were going to have a fist fight before the game started. I was so surprised that Nika took an elbow and didn't deliver an elbow. That's the way it worked out. It's not like they're going to throw down right there. But I do think we will see them again.
It was a physical game yesterday.
Seemed like it, yeah.
And the officiating was not great. Whether, you let them play ticky-tack fouls, it's like, okay, what's it going to be? But it was a tough, hard-fought game. Good job by Notre Dame. I mean, Maddie Westbeld was an X factor in the game, and she goes out. I think she was 4 of 8 from 3 in the first 7 games they played. Well, she probably was 3 of 5 alone yesterday, and she had 17 points in the win. And they killed UConn on the glass and points in the paint. The points in the paint are the number that's glaring. 46-16. I mean, that sounds like UConn against a Big East team.
The younger girls have to realize they're the New York Yankees of women's college basketball. Yeah. I'm serious.
I'm with you.
Every time they play anybody, I don't care if it's Notre Dame or they play some
Princeton
other Division III, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the A game of every other team,
right.
And they have to be up for it.
It's funny. I was talking to Sean Stiles, their radio guy, yesterday before the game, and he said, last year when Notre Dame came to Stores, that was their first experience with that hostile type of crowd. Well, for this group of Huskies, this was their first time in South Bend, and that's not an easy place to play. And things did not go well right at the start. And then you hear the Notre Dame fight song over and over, and a lot of green. And, hey, they didn't, most of them didn't play well yesterday. You need a total team effort. They didn't get it yesterday. And I felt awful for Aubrey Griffin. I mean, this is a young lady that has been such a big factor so far, and she had a really tough day yesterday. It happens,
Happens to everybody.
You don't hit the strike zone every time.
Absolutely not. You give game-winning home runs, you got a short memory, come right back.
That's right.
Do it again.
And they're back at it Thursday when they play Princeton, and then it doesn't get any easier Sunday when they go to Maryland.
I hate to beat Princeton.
Can they beat Maryland without AZ Fudd?
I think so. Yeah, if everybody shows up and plays well, yes, that's the whole story. Yesterday, they didn't have enough offense to keep up with Notre Dame. Now, granted, they got it down to 5 with the possession of the ball, and then just a couple of costly turnovers, and Notre Dame made them pay yesterday. So it wasn't as if they got blown out yesterday. They didn't play well, and Notre Dame had something to do with that, absolutely. But when you go 1 for 12 and you only shoot 30%. 37%, and that's by far a season low for the Huskies. It's going to be hard to beat good teams.
And you take AZ's 24 points out of that game. They only lost by 14. Even if she put 15 in there, it's a closer game.
Look how many points are sitting on that bench yesterday between Dorka, Page, and AZ. Oof,
Exactly.
that's a lot.
Men's hockey. real quick?
I didn't see it because I was working Friday night, but from all accounts, they just lost their composure. We'll find out a lot more about the game from Coach Cav on Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
When we have that massive coaches show with Gino and Cav from Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue, and then Coach Hurley and Mike afterwards from 7:30 to 8:30. But, it's going to be rare doing a coaches show with two coaches both coming off tough losses over the weekend.
Oh, great. They won't be happy. That's good.
That and the transfer portal, but that's going to be
big game for the hockey team on Sunday. It's their last game before the break.
Right.
BU's in town Sunday afternoon at 2. So if we've got tickets, you might want to give away some tickets this week.
There you go. The little BU Terriers coming to town on Sunday. Bob Joyce, thank you so much.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome. We'll do it again soon.
All right, when we come back, do the first Sips question of the day. We'll talk about Verlander and DeGrom next.